welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are at 4 minutes past 8 a.m. and we are doing amazing. That means we are into our second hour, and I'm not alone because, as promised, we are going to talk all about Macondo festivals, and I have someone here to help me with that conversation. He's conversant with it extremely, and we are going to get to know him, get to know what he does, and because he's here, so we start. But before we even do that, before you say hi, you are telling me about the books that you are reading. Yes, if there's any book that you're reading this month, this year, hata kama ulianza Jan, then you just remembered, oh, I was reading something. Share with me. Hata kama ni one book a year, you are doing so much better than very many people. So kindly share with me, whether it is soft copy or hard copy or an audio book, whatever it is that you're reading right now. I am expecting your feedback in the course of this conversation. But like I said, I am not alone. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. How is your Monday morning?
A Monday morning is okay.
Yeah.
From a lot of activities during the weekend.
Yes.
And now we're starting over a new week, very vibrant. And
yes.
I like the fact that you're asking people to mention the books that
yes.
they are reading.
Yes.
Because I personally consider reading a very important aspect of growth personally as an artist.
Yes.
So I'm first a reader before
yes.
I write.
Yeah.
Because it kind of expands my level of thinking. And
yes.
If I can share mine.
Yes, please do.
I'm currently reading Darwin Partington's book. He's a Kenyan poetry anthology. It's called How to Euthanize a Cactus.
Yes.
Yeah, so how he's written it is very interesting because I look forward to write someday,
yes.
publish,
yes.
because I do write.
Because you write,
Yes. So he's packaged his poetry very interestingly because he captures a series of events from, especially it starts during the 2007
yes.
skirmishes.
Yes.
And so the things that he was seeing on the roads, what he was seeing on television, it
yes.
actually captures very vividly.
Yes.
And he goes on from date to date on how he personally experienced it.
Yes.
And then there are certain chapters where he talks about fatherhood and
wow.
he describes how he felt just holding that baby in
yes.
his arms all the way to when the baby was now a bit older, starting to walk.
Yes.
Very beautiful. Very
wow. What have you said is the name of the book again?
How to Euthanize a Cactus.
How to Euthanize a Cactus.
Yes.
Ooh, maybe that's a book you need to read. The title is just calling, you know. Come see, like find out what this is all about. There is another suggestion. If you're not reading yet, you have about 17 minutes. I'm going to be reminding you of that list. We have collected quite a number from my producer, from our hosts, to our Tuesday's host of the show, from myself. We are going to be sharing all those books, but even before we start, you are telling me what is your current read right now. Sasa unaweza tusalimia. You can say hello to the audience. Tell us your name, then we start on this conversation.
Yeah, I just went right through it.
Yes,
yeah.
which is amazing. It means we are blending in very nicely.
Yeah, so my name is Shaka.
Yes.
I'm a performance poet and a storyteller. I am the reigning, which is 65th Poetry Slam Africa champion.
Yes.
And I mostly base because I shifted a bit from just doing poetry to now doing poetry productions.
Yes.
So I do poetry productions and also participate in slams, poetry slams. So poetry slams are just spoken word competition. So which it starts in the country where you compete for the national champion.
Yes.
And then you head over to African competition and then over to the world
competitions.
Yes.
Yes. Wow. Can we first start with just that in itself is amazing, that we have poetry competitions that are going all the way up.
It does.
You know,
it does.
as we run in Hungary, we are also, practicing some good competitions in poetry, which I like very much. So we are going to go down. We are going to go back to that championship because I want to know how your experience was throughout that whole competition. But we are here to talk about Macondo festivals. So let's start with one. What is Macondo MLF? Macondo festivals.
So Macondo Literary Festival is among the fewest festivals in the world and in Africa that specifically choose to celebrate African literature.
Yes.
So they just bring together a number of literary enthusiasts, critics, writers, beginners, and put them all into conversation. So where you have the writers and the authors getting to share with their audience exactly what they were going through when they were writing and what they felt and how the process was for them. Because largely, we just get to interact with their works. We don't really get to know and experience them at personal level.
True.
So Macondo brings that to the people. And I like the fact that they narrow it down to history.
Yes.
So Africans are not that much celebrated, especially African arts and literature.
Yes.
So now Macondo gives us that platform to celebrate our African authors, listen to them, learn about them more, and celebrate them.
Exactly. Yes. So guys, Macondo Festivals is all about celebrating works that has been written by African authors about our histories. And like I said, I think the best thing I like about Macondo is the fact that we are not letting other people tell our story. Like for the longest time, we have had our stories told. But you know, you listen to it and you're like, wait, that is not the Kenya I live in. Like the perspective, qua ground, things are very, very different. So I celebrate Macondo because of the fact that, one, we get to tell our own stories. Because you are the best person, you are in the best place to tell your own story. I am in the best place to tell my own story. So if we are telling our stories ourselves, then we are going somewhere. You know? So how did you meet with Macondo? How did you come about Macondo Festivals?
So that was last year when Macondo was doing, because when it did its first edition, I was just an observer, and then last year they did their second edition, and it was right after I had won the Poetry Slam Africa, and I had chosen to focus largely on history during my production. So I do my research and then I do my productions in history. So Macondo people approached me because there was a Brazilian who was part of the festival. Her name is Roberta. So Roberta is a very celebrated artist in Brazil, among the founders of the first hip-hop company in Brazil. So she's a big deal. So when Macondo reached out to me and they were like, we want you guys to partner so that you tell one story in a production. I found it very interesting and eye-opening. So I got that opportunity, and we did a 2-hour production with Roberta and also with the help of other artists. We had contemporary dancer, one named Jenna. We had Liboy on the music, and we created just a symphony of beautiful art telling the history of Brazil and Kenya.
In Kenya, okay.
Yes. And something very interesting about that is, for me, a lot of value was in the process of interacting with Roberta, because she was in Brazil, and that was the time when they were transitioning through governments, so they were getting into the elections, and it was a very heated debate across the world, because it was between Lula and the other guy. I've forgotten his name.
Producer is asking, is it Gado?
No, not Gado.
Okay, all right, but at least we know one guy.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
You have 4.
Lula, yes. And his name will come. So it was very historic. And a lot of debate in terms of how leadership and styles of leadership across the world was being discussed. So when we actually did our rehearsals through Zoom, that was the first time I ever worked with an international artist and getting to merge our works together. Bolsonaro. Yes, that's the name.
The name did come.
Yes. So so having to understand, so what the show was about, we were comparing colonization between Kenya and Brazil. Yes, so I had to understand how exactly they were affected as Brazilians, and in relation to how I, as a Kenyan, was affected.
Yes.
And I realized we were just colonized for about 58 years.
Yeah.
They were colonized for 600 years. You know, that's
We
a
are
lot.
babies. We are. What? That's
yeah.
a long time.
Yeah, that was a lot. So getting to share these perspectives
Yeah.
and what liberation means to them and what it means to us,
Yes.
the difference. And they still fight till date because they are still facing racism in their country.
Yes.
We don't face racism in our country. What
Yeah.
we face is neocolonialism and also just economic struggles.
Yes.
So those are among the experiences that, for me personally, only
Yeah.
Macondo could provide.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also getting to meet, Abdul Razak. That's the guy.
That's it's a big deal.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is a big. I like that Macondo does that. Like, it brings you like the stars from across the other, across the globe,
Yeah.
and you get that experience all together. Wow, I like that, because that is a very different perspective. You can hear my producer almost wondering what, because I think we have been seeing about colonization like we are the, we were, worst affected, but those have been there like 10 times over. Like, they had to endure the same thing for a much longer time. That's
Yeah.
definitely an experience to remember. So wait, I know there were major differences in colonization in terms of Brazil and Kenya, but
Yes.
did you find any similarities in there?
Yeah. A lot of it. And I also noticed it is just being culturally colonized.
Yes.
The colonial system, when they come, the first thing is they have to disintegrate what you consider value,
Yes.
and impose what they consider their own perspective of value. And at this point, you realize
Yeah.
the beauty of culture.
Yeah.
Yes. And I share with my friends, I always urge them
Yes.
that, okay, this is my personal opinion.
Yes.
Everyone just
Everyone.
Yes, it could be prejudice.
All
it
right.
could be biased,
Yes.
not prejudice, but could be biased.
Yeah.
But I always tell my friends, stop naming your kids the Western names. Stop. We have so many beautiful names
Yes.
in Africa. We have so many beautiful names in Kenya.
Yes.
Risk it. You are Luo, for example.
Yes.
What would it cost you naming your child, taking a Kalenjin name, for
Yeah.
example? I was daring them because this is the only generation that is really daring
Yeah.
at this point. But I think we can also be daring in terms bringing back our culture.
Yes.
Because African names are so beautiful. When you meet, you don't realize this until you meet these people from across the world, and
Yeah.
you share and you say, my name is Otieno, and they're like, wow, that's such a beautiful name. What does it mean? It's
Yes.
all this beautiful. But then when we have these English names,
Yes.
the first thing that it imposes on you is, colonized.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first thing it's bringing to mind. On that, I have been loving something recently. There are very many beautiful Kiswahili names.
Yes.
I honestly, like, a friend of mine's baby is called Thamani, and I love the name. And I totally agree. Like, you can have a beautiful name that is not exactly English.
Yes, and just to concur on that,
Yeah.
I think Swahili has so many beautiful names.
Yes.
Now that you mention it, I have a friend who's everyone in their family is
Yeah.
called Karembo.
Yeah.
All the ladies.
Yes.
They're just this Karembo, and they're like, that's our family name.
Yes.
Sisi ni Warembo,
Wow.
So
okay, yeah.
I also met a friend, and she was telling me her name is Mapenzi. As an African, a Kenyan,
Yes,
we know
it
what
hits
Mapenzi
home.
is, and you're like, wow, that's such a beautiful name.
Yes.
I think it's time. We embraced this, and everyone in the world is doing that.
Yeah.
And like you said, back to our conversation,
Yeah.
that was the first thing the colonial government wanted to do, both sides, in
Yes.
Brazil
Yeah.
and in Kenya, is to make you feel like the cultural values that you have and
Yes.
the identity is not good enough, is
Yes.
not beautiful enough, so they bring you something
And you need to move
more
away
value.
from it, leave
Yes.
those things behind.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you find a lot of people now choosing, and it kind of makes sense because in that time, jobs were being given to people who were renamed.
Yes.
You know, they were getting goodies
Yeah.
with that sense. So for you to survive, you just had to conform.
Exactly.
Yeah? So it makes sense. I can't really blame our ancestors for choosing that path. But now that we have the liberty to go back to that, I
Exactly.
think we need to. So in Brazil, that happened as well. The education system that they were being given, it's a kind of education that only allows you to work for your colonial master. That is the farthest the education takes you.
Yes.
And you look at it, it's the same way that it's happening right now.
Exactly.
So,
Yes. I mean, we have had to do a lot of adjusting.
yes.
Yes.
And a lot still needs to be done. And maybe later on when we'll get to talk about the productions that I did,
Yeah.
I'll tell you about how I did the productions and what it meant in terms of I personally taking an
Yeah.
initiative with Macondo
Yeah.
to help people to relearn.
Yeah. Actually,
Yes.
you can talk to us about that right now. I mean, that's
Oh.
why we are here.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. So
So you did a number of productions with
Yes.
Macondo, huh?
yes, but that was now for this festival. So the
Yes.
the previous,
previous
festival,
festival,
it was mainly about getting to see the future, the theme,
Yes.
basically, getting to look into the future
Yes.
by looking into the past.
True.
Yes, so Roberta and I were looking into the past and defining what colonialism really was and
Yes.
what it really meant to our people and how it has morphed
Yes.
into what our leaders are doing today.
Right now.
Yes. So this year, again, it's about disrupting home.
Yes, the
But-
theme of this year's festivals is disrupting home.
Yes, disrupting home. And disrupting home could also mean exploring deeper into your history. So I did 2 productions. The first production was a repeat of my production, which was called Of a Dying Breed. So Of a Dying Breed, I wrote it. It was majorly inspired by Patrice Lumumba's story. So a lot of people don't know that Patrice Lumumba, after being the prime minister in Congo, the colonial government had to bring him down using his best friend.
Yes.
That has always been the case. So they used, his best friend was Mobutu Sese Seko.
Yeah.
So Mobutu, it was Patrice who brought him to power,
Yes.
gave him a lot of authority, made him the leader of the military, and they had decided to get into a mission to revolutionize
Yeah.
and build Congo.
Yeah.
But then it is this same Mobutu that was promised a lot of wealth by the colonial
Exactly.
government,
Yes.
and he killed his own friend and
Yeah.
brother. And after killing him, they decide, you know what? If we bury this guy, the gravesite would be a symbol of revolution
Yes.
in the country. We cannot have any symbol of any sort.
Yeah.
So they decide to dissolve his body in sulfuric acid. So again, you see, your own brother choosing to dissolve you
Yeah,
in
to
sulfuric acid.
clear evidence of anything.
Yes. So it tells you the
bad.
level of greed, you
Yes.
know? And so they dissolve his body in sulfuric acid, but something is left. Patrice was very stylish.
Yeah.
He had a golden tooth.
Yeah.
So it was the only part of his body that was not dissolved.
Yes.
So one Belgian soldier decided to go back with it home.
Yeah.
And the government of Belgium knew about this.
Yes.
But they allowed him to keep it for over 51 years. Until the Congolese people kept calling out. You see
Yes.
how similar that is to what is happening to us today? Daily we keep asking, show us where you buried Didan Kimathi.
Exactly.
You must show us. And we saw, we buried his legendary wife, still
Yes.
asking the same question.
Where exactly?
Where did you bury him?
Yes.
So after 51 years, Belgium decide, for us to mend and reconcile with
Yeah.
Congo as our friend, we're choosing to return the tooth.
Yeah.
So they choose to return the tooth after 51 years.
51 whole years.
Yes, in a very beautiful colored ceremony. But the question that I ask is, what about justice?
Yeah.
Congo faced and is still facing some heinous crimes.
Yes.
This same Congo had tens of thousands of kids
Yes.
whose hands were cut
Yes.
by Leopold. So
Yeah.
how it happened was Leopold had converted Congo into a personal property.
Yeah.
So he was mining.
Yes, you were saying that, I'm like, someone actually sat down and decided to convert an entire country.
Yes, into a personal property.
Yeah, I had a guy wanted to buy Nairobi. Like, these things are, it's crazy. Yes.
Capitalism is just something on its own.
Yeah.
Of course, it has its good.
Yeah.
And
And the
bad,
other side is.
But yeah.
Exactly.
So Leopold, he had targets for his mines.
Yes.
And he had majorly a lot of kids in
Yeah.
the mining sites. So when he noticed the kids were getting exhausted and tired and they could not reach their target,
Yeah.
he decided to make an example of the kids.
Yeah.
So a child who has not attained their mining target
Yeah.
would be brought in front of a whole team
Yeah.
of other miners, and his hands would be chopped off. Where is the justice?
Exactly.
A lot of minerals worth billions
Yeah.
were taken from Congo.
Exactly.
Where is the justice? And these people choose to return the tooth. Now, and this is why literary spaces like Macondo choose to focus on history, so that when we are being brought the truth, we ask.
Or when we are
know.
ceremoniously
Yes.
accepting, we know the history, we know what led into all this.
Yes.
Before we get to celebrating just on face value, face level,
Yes.
we are, okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Where is the justice?
Yeah.
Okay, so Macondo is bringing you that and much more, because these are things I'm just learning. Some of them I have heard, some of them I have never heard. So I'm like, this is the space. I want us to come back and talk about the where, the when, because people need to come and sit down and listen to these writers and listen to these works and read through the works that have been done. But before that, you are a poetry and a spoken word artist, a storyteller.
Yes.
So sitaki kukuachilia before you give us something.
Yes.
So just one piece, and then we come back to Macondo and talk about this year and exactly what is happening.
All right.
Yes. So what piece do you want to perform on top of your head? You can pick any.
All right. I'm ready.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, Slim Shaka with an amazing piece.
Okay, now I move for the masses. With is a different case, though. I disgrace fake friendship. Judas, if you say so. I prefer solitude. Burning them bridges is how I set my soul on fire. Three cook-a-doodle-doos like a soul messiah. I am a poet who's crazy driven. Locomotive, I am a tech on tar, a tech to tar, I'm a luo omera I am with class like chairs with glass, the grass seems greener when I think I graze like a goat in my pen, I color the world in my ink. Tomboy awesomeness in my link. King Shaka thunder when I blinky bill. I'm Mac Mende, deal in these streets. Now my state of mind is oversized and being real is a misfit. So I reel to Graham's feet. My poetry snakes through your veins like the thing with fangs. But the people love it. It's a thing with fans, a thing for hearts. It's a thing for blood. It cannot be questioned by a thing with blood. But one statement defines me. I am just a poet, but the excellence precedes me. A just poet. Slim Shaka.
Ah, nice. I think we should have you back here just, for a couple. Exactly, for a live art session, which by the way we hold, which you told me some of your poetry friends exactly. So I think we should come back here and just talk about your works, because you're definitely you are the poetry of the past and the future. I think that is the best definition. Yes, you're able to dig into there to take us. We are doing well. So Macondo Festivals this year is theme is disrupting home, and like you said, to dig deeper, to understand why these things happened, how these things happened. So in regard to this year, what is the message that you want people to get from Macondo Festival this year?
This year really focuses still, the intention remains the same, focusing on history, but it also explores the understanding of the same.
Yes.
So, like, for example, on 31st this month, there's going to be a very interesting conversation led by Mshai Mwangola and 3 other panelists who are going to talk about what it means to really understand your history and the impact of understanding your history. It will be on 31st August at the Gut Institute from 6 p.m.
Yes.
And I can also talk about the workshops, right?
Yes. This is
and
the chance.
You can go and check out Macondo on the website. There's a huge lineup of very, very interesting celebrated authors, including Yvonne Odhiambo, the 2008 Kane Prize, and also a number of workshops. So there are 3 workshops that's going to happen. These workshops are completely entrance free.
Yes.
They will be taking place on the first day. The first day, that is 15th September. So these 3 workshops, first workshop will be facilitated by me.
Yes.
One of the workshops,
Amazing,
rather. So it's called Exploring Your Niche Through Poetry and Storytelling.
Yes.
So I will be sharing with my participants the process of finding your niche or exploring your niche. So it's open to whoever is interested, budding or even established writer and a poet. And I will be taking them through the 7 years experience that I have had, having to choose between a wide range of themes and just niching down
exactly
to history.
Yes, to history. Okay.
Yes, and then also there'll be another workshop also happening at the same time by Chief Nyamwea. So Chief Nyamwea will be doing a workshop about animation, and the cosmics. So those people in love with animation, they will be animating history. And also another workshop on the same day by the 2018 Crane Prize winner, McKenna.
Nice.
So McKenna will be helping storytellers, not storytellers, but rather novelists.
Exactly.
How to make reach of the characters.
Yes.
So you can choose which part you would like. So there are different ways that you can apply for the workshops. Again, they are free entry.
Exactly. Like if that is not calling your name, there's free entry. Come and gain knowledge and information that is not free. Out there. It is worth a lot. Like, I mean, just for Slim here, it's worth 7 years.
Yes, it's
7 years.
7 years.
Exactly. It's a long time.
Yeah.
And this is, you're getting trained in just below a day, in a few hours. You may be able to find exactly what you are all about. This story of I'm a versatile artist.
Yes, and for my personal workshop, I'll be redefining niche from what you do to who you are. So I'll be helping my participants actually understand how you can use your core values, the person that you are, into exploring your art. And therefore, it would not necessarily have you getting into mind blocks. This is also a way of dealing with mind blocks as an artist.
Yes, which creatives have a lot of them.
Yes.
Okay. So if if you are a budding or even an established writer, artist, and you're into some type of a mental block right now, you're not understanding exactly what is happening.
Yes.
Macondo is for you. These workshops are for you.
Most
wow,
definitely.
I feel the information there is going to be compact. So you better make time and attend. I want you to repeat one more time on the 31st workshop that is going to be going down, just for that detail.
Well, it's a conversation, actually.
Yes.
It's a conversation that would be facilitated by Mshai Mwangola.
Yes.
Mshai Mwangola is a celebrated, how can I call her? Because Mwangola holds so many shoes, but I could call her.
My producer is saying she's a performance scholar.
Exactly, that was the one I was looking for. If he must have he or she, your producer, he must have.
Ryan Ngure.
Fantastic. Then he knows what Mshai is about. Mshai is very analytical and very comprehensive.
Yes.
So that is definitely going to be an impressive conversation about history. So it's going to happen from 6 p.m. 31st August at the Gut Institute, or others call it Gote.
Yes.
yes. That is also entry-free, by the way.
Exactly. So 31st of September.
Yes,
that one is happening 31st of
August. This month, in a few days.
We're starting with 31st, then we go on Thursday. So 31st October, this Thursday, you can begin to have a conversation on Macondo festivals and everything that they're about. And they're not just bringing you artists. That is what I love. They're bringing you people who have taken time to mold their art, to find their shape, to find their niche, so that you don't have to go through that, so that it's easier, or at least, because everyone has to go through a process, but it will be far much seamless and easier. We talked about the way poetry and spoken word has been introduced into this new system. And I think we were just talking here with Slim that we feel like that is the best time to nurture these gifts before they are out of school. And you were telling me you've been allowed to write pieces for schools?
Yeah. At this time now, we're getting schools reaching out to us, telling us to, script write for them, poetry pieces, spoken word pieces, train their students. So it's slowly getting into the curriculum and being respected, because I personally do spoken word poetry, or let me just call myself a full-time artist. And now initially it just was a fleeting dream, because you'd be in and out of jobs and trying to balance.
Exactly.
But right now it's actually possible to be a full-time poet. We were just
full-time. There is nothing else you do, you just do poetry.
Doing poetry. And there's a lot of work that is involved. People think that it's just about standing on stage and performing, but there's a lot of research work that has to be done. Like for me, sometimes I get into 4 or 5 months of research before I write a production. So you have to read a lot and speak to mentors, speak to historians and all these people, and then just now use all this knowledge into art. So as a full-time artist, I am able to do better. I am able to write more impactfly.
Exactly, because you are doing this full time. And I feel like it's about time, like every other career, you're not a part-time doctor. So why are you can be a full-time poet and be great at it. Finally, we are running out of time. Who will be the speakers of the festival? I know you have mentioned a few, but who are there other people that are going to be speaking? And just take us through the schedule of the festival.
So in case I will leave out some other information, you can check on the website, macondofestival.org. So it will be starting from 15th September all the way to 17th September at the Kenya National Theatre. And students get to enter the festival at 200 bob.
200 bob.
Yes,
Only,
bob.
200 bob and your ID.
Yes,
because we said all of you that are here looking 19.
yeah, with your school ID. The other people get to attend the festival at an advance fee of 1,400 for both days.
Yes.
Yeah, so that will be the entrance fee.
Yes.
And then let me just focus on again. Part of will be having Kenyan writers. They will be on a number of panel, and then we'll also be having again the 2008 Ken Prize winner, our very own Yvonne Odhiambo.
Yes,
and of course a lot of this will be facilitated by Mshai Mwangola and Kasam as well. So those are among the few, but you can get. At the website, you can get everything
every
about
info
it.
that you need, whatever every day will be included. They have done a really nice, fine write-up that you just need to go through, pick your thing, and just go. And also, I think the tickets are very friendly. Like he has said, 1,400 for both days.
Yes, for both days.
And you are going to learn phenomenally. Like in those 2 days, it's like 2 months.
Yes.
So I want you to take this chance. Just invite people shortly before we close.
Yes, so again, this is your opportunity to not only interact, get into conversation, but also get to listen to your celebrated African authors. Also get selfies.
I know, right?
So get to learn about how these great writers got to become great writers, because they will be sharing their journey. You get the opportunity to ask them personal questions. And the beauty of Macondo is they do not put a barrier between their people and their celebrated authors, so you can mingle freely. Last time I was able to just see the Nobel Peace Prize winner just interact with everyone openly. You don't get that except from Macondo.
For Macondo Festival.
So this is once in a lifetime opportunity. Come to the workshops, come to the conversations, and then you will get an idea of exactly what you are up. What Macondo is all about.
Exactly, and you will of course live there having understood yourself even better as a creative, because I think for a fact Macondo provides guidance, to whatever kind of art, and we have said the past informs the future. So there is no going forward if you don't know where we are coming from. So go learn where you are coming from, and where other artists, these great artists whose names you hear and you are cheering, get to know where they are from. Do audiobooks count as books?
They definitely do, because we are getting into the online space. I am actually certain that in a few years we will not have the physical copies anymore. So that's the way to go, I think.
So we want if you're listening to an audiobook, you are definitely in. You are in. Is there any book that you have ever read that you can leave to our viewers to go read that you really enjoyed very much? Recommend.
Yes, As a Man Thinketh.
Yes.
By John Allen. Yes.
As a Man Thinketh by John Allen. Okay, so that one is definitely on my list. I'm going to be reminding you of it, and keep up reading. Like we have said, you get a lot of information that you'll not get on TikTok in books. Okay, thank you Slim, for being here. It's been an honor and a pleasure. There's a bit of feedback. Hangi Mwangi is saying, one book a year, gang. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Asema, the book is Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki writes very well. He's the author to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yes, that Robert. So Cash Flow Quadrant. I have not read this one, but that's another one that you can read. Eden Lenz is saying the best way to kickstart the week with amazing artists is by staying tuned to Art and Culture Monday with Karen Blessing. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Slim, it's been an honor and a pleasure. See you guys at the Macondo Festivals. First one, the 31st, this Thursday, and then we move on to the 15th of October. So, and if you're a student, if you're a creative, you're a student, just your ID and 200 bob, and you can get an access to the entire festival. You know, everything, the workshops, the panel discussions are free of charge. So come here and learn, okay? So karibuni sana nyote to Macondo Festivals. We are looking forward to seeing you guys there. Thank you, Slim, for being here. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I'm looking forward to see you once again before Macondo, but now on whatever you're working on currently. Do you want to shout out anyone? Kuna mtu alisema atakunyonga?
Not really. But just shout out to all the poetry fans out there.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
Exactly. So we are going to see Slim again for a live act session. All right. Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, that is where we wind up our first lounge at exactly 44 minutes past 8 a.m.